we do at the nursery, our whole goal is to take small pieces of coral and grow them up bigger and faster than they would grow in the wild, and then take those coral and put them out onto reefs that have been damaged or degraded in some way. A lot of our day-to-day here is just making sure the corals are growing, making sure they're healthy, just to make sure that they're continuing to grow as fast as possible and that they're getting ready to be outplanted. A lot of people think coral just might be a rock, but they're actually living animals. So a healthy coral reef ecosystem has corals as the base of the reef, providing the foundation and the habitat. And then you have all the fish and other organisms that call the coral reef home. And healthy habitats like this are what are important for places like Hawai'i, where we have the reefs right along the shore that provide a lot of shoreline protection from waves. They're creating these beautiful environments that we can fish and get food from those environments, and we can also just go out and enjoy the beauty and biodiversity of these habitats. Here we have our quarantine area. This is where we bring corals when they first come into the nursery. So here we have rice coral. They get checked to make sure that they're healthy, and they have to be healthy for at least 30 days before they can move on to the next step. So at the coral nursery, we want our corals to grow faster so we can outplant these big corals back out onto the reef, and they can reproduce and contribute to restoring that environment. And the way we do that is based off of how corals naturally grow. So what we do is we take a coral and we chop it up into a bunch of tiny pieces, and each of those pieces will grow, and they will actually fuse back together to create one bigger colony. Here at our facility, where we're providing, the perfect conditions for them to grow, then we will reacclimate them back to more natural conditions and outplant them onto the reef. So this is what it looks like. We have all these fragments, they're called microfragments, that we glue onto this concrete pyramid. We call the pyramid a module. So all the pieces are secured onto here, and they're in this aquarium environment where it's creating the perfect conditions for the coral to grow. Some of my favorites are this green one right here. This is called encrusting coral, and it gets this beautiful green fluorescent color actually from this specific protein in the coral, but it's really beautiful, and it really only lives in like caves and overhangs. So now we're at the final, most exciting step, where the corals are grown and they're ready to be outplanted. And then once it's time for outplanting, it's all hands on deck, and we'll load the corals onto the boats. And it's a really fulfilling feeling to be able to plant the corals back out on the reef, to be done at the end of the day, and see your corals out there healthy on the reef is really rewarding. And so far, we've had really great success with all of our coral outplants. We can continue to scale up and really make an impact with restoration here in Hawaii.